Thousands of people are moving into these California towns right now, and many of them don't realize what they've walked into until it's too late. We're talking about places with collapsing cliffs, overwhelmed infrastructure, soaring insurance costs, and local services that haven't kept up with the population boom. Yet home prices look like a bargain compared to the rest of California, which is exactly why buyers keep flooding in. Here's the twist. While millions are leaving the state, these specific towns are growing faster than ever. So why are people rushing into areas with risks most real estate listings never mention? Today, we're counting down 10 California towns everyone is moving to, but you should think twice before calling them home. Number 10, Oakland. Oakland sits just across the bay from San Francisco. For years, people priced out of San Francisco have been crossing that bridge in search of something more affordable. And on paper, Oakland makes sense. It has culture, history, food, and a real sense of community. But the numbers tell a different story. Oakland is the single most dangerous major city in California. Its violent crime rate sits at nearly 17 incidents per every 1,000 residents. That is 327% above the national average. Let that sink in for a moment. The city recorded 285 gun violence incidents in a single year, and with fewer than 700 police officers covering a population of nearly 440,000 people, response times are stretched dangerously thin. Despite a reported 19% drop in violent crime in 2024, residential robberies actually increased by 118% in the same period. So while one problem eased slightly, another got significantly worse. People are arriving in Oakland because San Francisco has become too expensive, but many are walking straight into one of the most challenging urban environments in the entire country. Coming up at number 9, a city where the ground itself is the danger. Number 9, San Bernardino. San Bernardino sits about 60 miles east of Los Angeles. For people priced out of LA, it looks like an obvious solution. Housing is cheaper, space is available, and the Inland Empire job market has been growing. But San Bernardino has some of the most alarming statistics of any city in California. It is the second most dangerous city in the entire state. The violent crime rate sits at nearly 15 incidents per 1,000 residents. Poverty affects more than 25% of the population, nearly triple the California state average. Here's the detail that stops most people cold. The city's police force is operating with a 41% vacancy rate. That means nearly half of all needed police positions are currently unfilled. For a city with this level of crime, that gap is enormous. Motor vehicle theft is among the highest in the entire country at nearly 100 incidents per 1,000 residents. And stimulant drug-related offenses account for roughly 22% of all arrests. People arrive looking for affordability. What many find instead is a city genuinely struggling to keep up with its own challenges. Next up, a city that looks perfectly safe on the surface. Number 8, Palos Verdes. Palos Verdes is the kind of place most people only dream about. Clifftop homes with ocean views, tree-lined streets, one of the most prestigious addresses in all of Southern California. Properties here sell for millions of dollars. But there is something deeply wrong happening beneath the surface. Literally, the entire Palos Verdes Peninsula sits on ancient landslide terrain, and that land is moving. Streets have buckled and cracked. Homes have shifted off their foundations. Entire neighborhoods are slowly sliding toward the ocean. This is not a future risk. It is happening right now. Insurance companies have walked away from large parts of the area entirely. Some homeowners who paid millions for their properties are now discovering that those same properties are uninsurable, and a home you cannot insure is a home you cannot sell. Some residents have received notices suggesting their homes may eventually need to be demolished. People are still moving to Palos Verdes because the views are stunning and the reputation is strong, but the ground underneath some of these dream homes is quietly giving way. Next, a city where the danger comes not from the ground, but from the flames. Number 7, Riverside. Riverside has become one of the most popular destinations for people leaving Los Angeles and San Diego. It is easier to reach than most Inland Empire cities, has a real university town feel thanks to UC Riverside, and housing prices look reasonable compared to the coast. But reasonable is a relative word in California. Over the last 5 years, the monthly cost of buying an entry-level home in Riverside County has increased by 107%. That is not a typo. Prices have more than doubled in just 5 years, and rents across the region have jumped by roughly 42% in the same period. On top of that, Riverside sits in one of Southern California's most active wildfire corridors. The insurance crisis hitting the broader region has left many homeowners with limited or no coverage options. Summer temperatures regularly push well above 100 degrees degrees, and crime sits above the national average, adding another layer of concern for families considering the move. People arrive expecting an affordable fresh start, but the gap between renting and owning has grown to nearly $2,000 a month, a financial pressure most newcomers simply do not see coming. Next, a city with a legendary reputation and a very modern problem. Number 6. Pasadena. Pasadena has one of the most recognizable names in California, home of the Rose Bowl, tree-lined streets, beautiful old architecture, a thriving arts and dining scene. It consistently ranks as one of the most desirable places to live in the entire Los Angeles area. But January 2025 changed everything. When the Eaton fire tore through neighboring Altadena, it burned for 24 days straight. Over 40,000 acres were destroyed. More than 100,000 residents were displaced. Nearly 30 people lost their lives. The fire stopped just short of Pasadena's borders. But the damage to the surrounding community was devastating. Here is the part that should concern anyone thinking about moving here. Insurance companies had already been pulling out of this area before the fires even started. Thousands of homeowners had lost their coverage in the years leading up to January 2025. A home without insurance in a wildfire zone is an enormous financial risk, and Pasadena sits directly in one of Los Angeles County's highest-risk wildfire corridors. The reputation is real, the charm is real, but so is the danger that comes with living this close to one of California's most active fire zones. Next, a city that turned into a lifestyle trap almost overnight. Number 5. Palm Springs. Palm Springs looks like the perfect escape, a resort city in the California desert with stunning mountain views, world-class golf courses, and a relaxed lifestyle that attracts retirees and remote workers from across the country. During the pandemic, people arrived in huge numbers chasing exactly that dream. But the desert has a way of revealing its true nature over time. Summer temperatures in Palm Springs regularly exceed 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Utility bills during the summer months can shock even the most prepared newcomers. Air conditioning is not a luxury here. It is a survival necessity running almost every hour of every day for months at a time. Then there is the water problem. Palm Springs sits in the Coachella Valley, which relies heavily on the Colorado River for its water supply. That river is at a historically low level. Water restrictions are tightening across the entire region with no easy solution in sight. The lifestyle that drew people here is real. The sunshine is real. But so are the brutal summers, the rising utility costs, and a water supply that the entire desert Southwest is now fighting over. Next up, a city where the price tag hides a much bigger problem. Number 4. Bakersfield. Bakersfield is one of the largest cities in California that most people outside the state have never seriously considered. But that is changing. As Los Angeles and the coastal cities have become increasingly unaffordable, Bakersfield has quietly become a destination for people looking for more space and lower prices. And the prices are genuinely lower, but there are reasons for that. Bakersfield appears on the national top 20 list of cities people are moving out of. It sits at number 19. That means people are both arriving and leaving at the same time, a sign that reality does not always match expectations. Crime sits above the national average, with nearly 5 violent incidents per 1,000 residents, and property crime runs significantly higher. The city recorded 33 gun violence incidents in a single year. Then there is the air. The San Joaquin Valley consistently ranks among the worst regions in the entire country for air quality. Residents deal with some of the highest smog levels in America, driven by agriculture, oil production, and geography that traps pollution in the valley. People arrive for affordability. Many leave when they discover what that affordability actually costs them. Next, California's capital city and why it may not be the safe bet people think it is. Number 3. Sacramento. Sacramento gets talked about as the smart move, the sensible alternative to the Bay Area. Close enough to Northern California's job markets, but far enough to actually afford a home. And compared to San Francisco, the numbers do look better on paper. But Sacramento is not the haven most people think it is. It is the only California city currently seeing more people move in than out. That sounds like a good sign. But what it actually means is that Sacramento is absorbing wave after wave of displaced Bay Area residents. And the pressure that creates is very real. Violent crime sits at nearly 7 incidents per 1,000 residents, above the national average. Property crime adds another 32 incidents per 1,000 on top of that. The city recorded 77 gun violence incidents in a single year. Summer temperatures regularly push above 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and the rapid population growth is overloading roads, schools, and water supplies across the entire surrounding region. Sacramento is not failing, but it is quietly and inheriting every problem that the Bay Area exported. And the suburbs surrounding it, where most newcomers actually end up, are growing faster than the infrastructure can handle. Next, the city that started it all. Number 2, Santa Clara. Santa Clara sits in the heart of Silicon Valley, home to major tech companies, world-class universities, and some of the highest-paying jobs in the entire country. On the surface, it looks like the ultimate California success story, but Santa Clara is actually ground zero for the crisis affecting every other city on this list. The median home price here sits well above $1 million. A typical mortgage payment in California now runs around $5,500 a month. The state's median household income is roughly $96,000 a year, which works out to about $8,000 a month before taxes. The math simply does not work for most people. Teachers, nurses, firefighters, and everyday workers who keep this city running cannot afford to live anywhere near it. So they leave. They head to Sacramento, Riverside, Bakersfield, and the Inland Empire, bidding up prices there and pushing those communities to their limits. Santa Clara also sits near the Hayward Fault, considered one of the most dangerous earthquake fault lines in the United States. This city did not just price out its own residents. It triggered a chain reaction that stretched across the entire state. Next, the city you absolutely need to know about before making any move in California. Number 1, Oceanside. Oceanside sits on the San Diego County coastline. Beautiful beaches, a charming pier, and housing prices that look almost reasonable compared to the rest of Southern California. For people being squeezed out of San Diego, it has become one of the most popular landing spots in the entire region. And that is exactly where the problems begin. Oceanside is growing faster than its infrastructure can handle. Roads, schools, and public services are all feeling the strain of rapid population growth. The city was built for a certain number of people, and that number is being exceeded faster than anyone planned for. Coastal erosion is a growing concern along the shoreline. Sea levels are rising, and the beaches that make Oceanside so attractive are slowly shrinking. Some coastal properties face long-term risks that most buyers simply do not research before purchasing. Wildfire exposure affects the eastern parts of the city, and the broader San Diego County insurance crisis means coverage options are becoming more limited and more expensive every year. Oceanside is not the most dangerous city on this list, but it represents something important. The idea that even the most appealing and affordable-looking option in California often comes with hidden costs most people never see coming. So there you have it, 10 California towns where people are arriving in huge numbers, but where the full picture tells a very different story. Here is what ties all of these cities together. California is not just dealing with a housing crisis, it is dealing with a chain reaction. People leave expensive coastal cities. They move inland looking for relief. They bid up prices in the next tier of affordable towns. And the cycle keeps pushing further and further out until even the affordable options are no longer truly affordable. The insurance crisis is real. The heat is getting worse. The crime in several of these cities is well above the national average, and the infrastructure in many of them simply cannot keep pace with the number of people arriving. None of this means California is finished, but it does mean that doing your research before making a move could save you from a very expensive mistake. If this video helped you see California differently, hit like and subscribe to HouseLine USA. We cover the stories behind the real estate market that most people never dig into. We will see you in the next one.